Hi y'all, I'm Frankie, coming to you with 12 of this week's best-selling nonfiction books and what people are saying about them. First off, at number 1, we have White Fragility by DiAngelo, which is a cultural analysis of what causes defensive moves by white people and how this inhibits cross-racial dialogue. Publishers Weekly called this book impressive in its scope and complexity. But seriously, folks, this book is not worth your time if you're looking for something to read to help you better understand the current Black Lives Matter protests. There are mountains of other books out there that provide much deeper insight into what's going on, some of which are further down this bestseller list. So, take your pick. In my opinion, White Fragility is not the book to read in this moment. And I'm going to leave some critiques of this book linked down in the description below. At number 2, we have The Room Where It Happened, in which former National Security Advisor John Bolton gives his account of the 17 months he spent working for President Trump. Publishers Weekly described this as a self-serving account in which the book's most serious allegations are buried in an avalanche of details. Number 3. How to Be an Anti-Racist by IBRAM x KENDI. This is a primer for creating a more just and equitable society through identifying and opposing racism. Kirkus Reviews says that it is not an easy read, but an essential one, with Publishers Weekly describing it as powerful and thoughtful. Our fourth book is, by the same author, Stamped from the Beginning, which is a history of racist thoughts and practices in the United States. Kirkus Reviews calls it an ambitious, magisterial book, adding that the narrative may be best read as an extended, sophisticated, and sometimes justifiably angry essay. At number 5, we have So You Want to Talk About Race by IJEOMA OLUO, which looks at the contemporary racial landscape of the United States. Kirkus Reviews calls it a feisty, clear, and candid contribution to an essential conversation, and Publishers Weekly describes it as insightful and trenchant, but not preachy. Number 6, Begin Again, by Eddie S. Glaude, Jr. This is a study of how the life and work of James Baldwin continues to be relevant today. According to Kirkus Reviews, it is a penetrating demonstration of how truth does not die with the one who spoke it. Publishers Weekly says it is an effective and impassioned case to remain committed to building a genuine democratic community where we all can flourish. Number 7, The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. This book examines how the government caused residential segregation through racial zoning and other systemic practices. Publishers Weekly called it comprehensive and engrossing, and Kirkus Reviews describes it as an informed, important exposé, while calling for the inclusion of more individual case histories in the book. At number 8, we have Untamed, in which activist and public speaker Glennon Doyle describes her journey of listening to her inner voice. Kirkus Reviews describes it as lucid and inspiring, and Publishers Weekly says it is an endearing testament to female empowerment that is full of hopeful messages. Number 9, Between the World and Me by Ta-NEHISI Coates. This is a meditation on race in America, framed as a letter to the author's teenage son. Kirkus Reviews calls it moving, eloquent, and potent, and Publishers Weekly adds that it is an immense, multifaceted work that will be hailed as a classic, giving it a starred review. Taking the number 10 spot, we have Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson, which is a memoir of Stevenson's decades of work to free innocent people condemned to death. Kirkus Reviews calls it emotionally profound, necessary reading. The book was also adapted into a movie starring Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx, released to generally favorable reviews in 2019. Number 11, Me and White Supremacy by LAYLA F. SAAD, which is an exploration of ways to understand and possibly counteract white privilege. Kirkus Reviews calls it a bracing, highly useful activist program for confronting white privilege and dismantling white supremacy. And finally, taking the number 12 spot is The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, which analyzes the war on drugs and its role in the disproportionate incarceration of Black men. Publishers Weekly describes it as carefully researched, deeply engaging, and thoroughly readable, with Kirkus Reviews adding that it is an alarming, convincing, and explosive debut. I've read the new Jim Crow myself, and if you want a comprehensive laying out of the facts regarding our current criminal justice system, then this is definitely the book for you.